Welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abassi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And we're recording again with voiceover on. And I think it's good. It's good for my eyeballs because I'm not seeing myself or anything like that. It's weird though. It's weird to just sit in a room and talk to myself, but whatevs. So welcome. Thanks for showing up for me and for yourself. And I just finished talking to the executive director at Vestibular Disorders Association, VEDA, VEDA, for an interview. Apparently, they're going to feature my story in their spring newsletter. So that's exciting. And I had a really great conversation. It was fun. I am not so nervous now when I do these interviews with people. I think it's because um, I'm starting to, I guess, have a language of my own, you know? So, like, when somebody asks me a question like, what happened to you? Like, tell me the story of your stroke or something like that. Um, I have said it enough times that I just kind of know the story now. That's what they say about public speaking too, right? That you need to practice, 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 practice. And I think that's what's making me not as nervous to do the interviews. It's because every interview I do is practice, 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 practice. So for those of you public speaker people, practice, practice, practice. Say it out loud over and over and over and over again. And then by the time that you have to say it out loud with an audience in front of you, you're just saying something you've said a million times before, and it doesn't cause as much anxiety. It's true. It's very true. Um, so that was fun. That'll come out next month, she said, in about a month or so. There's also a vestibular disorders Association conference coming up on let's see, the platform is open on the 24th. So in another week, it will actually be the conference is called Rebalance Live, and it's for folks who suffer from vestibular disorders or loved ones, people who have a loved one that suffers from a vestibular disorder, or if you just want to learn more about vestibular disorders, it's pretty fascinating. And I felt right at home talking to the director today. It was very nice. It's so nice to freaking talk to somebody who knows what you're experiencing. So, um, that's that. And today I wanted to talk about character defects. When I hear the term character defects, I think about there's something wrong with me. That's how it comes across to me. There's something wrong with me. And I'm questioning that definition that I've always thought to myself that these character defects are that something is wrong with me. There's a problem with me. You know, it just doesn't come across very well for me. Um, and I wanted to talk that through a little bit. My phone is ringing. I don't know who it is because I have it on voiceover. Let's turn down voiceover so we don't have to hear her. Okay, sorry for the interruption. It wouldn't be the first time that my phone rang during an episode. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that idea of character defects. And now this voiceover is talking to me. Oh dear. Um, in my ears. Okay, sorry. I'm truly sorry for the interruption. Voiceover is great for my eyes, but terrible in a lot of other ways. Okay. Um, So also like character defects can be my thinking problem. So there's not something wrong with me per se. A character defect for me, the way that I'm had to start looking at them and recognizing what is a character defect. For me, it's a thinking problem. The stinking thinking, that is a character defect for me. Um, so the stinking thinking um, is what was causing me to hurt myself, um, to harm myself and harm others. And it wasn't until I was able to is kind of a passive way of saying it. It wasn't until I was courageous enough to go to my sponsor and talk about step 5 that I heard her say, "Me too. That happened to me too. I know exactly what you're talking about and how you feel about it because that happened to me too." And when I learned that somebody else's thinker was working the same way that my thinker was, I was more willing to share a little bit more and share a little bit more. I was willing to start admitting a little more about where my stinking thinking takes me sometimes. And at first, I was talking to her about the stinking thinking that caused me to drink. Um, the stinking thinking that I wanted to shut up so that I didn't have to face my problems. And then after we opened up that can of worms, I was able to start looking at the stinking thinking that affects me all day, every day. The little things that I didn't even know were there. It's the peeling back the onion that I hear about so often. I don't usually say that phrase, but that's really what it is. I'm peeling back like the most obvious layer, which is um I am trying to hide, so I'm drinking. I'm trying to hide inside of myself, so I'm drinking. Um, I am stuffing all my terrible past experiences and pain into my dark place, and I'm smothering it with alcohol. So I remove the alcohol, and then I have to look at what's the first layer of stuff that's in my dark place, and it's like my obsession for alcohol, and starting to look at that, like what can I do to instead of um drinking. And it was things like the serenity prayer and doing the next right thing and going to meetings. And that was just the surface. That was just the initial reactor. Like I needed to take a look at how am I reacting to pain and frustration. And when my stinking thinking starts igniting, what is my immediate reaction? And it was to drink. So I had to change that immediate reaction. I needed to change it to call my sponsor or, I don't know, fill in the blank, go to a meeting, do something. Do something. Don't just sit in that anxiety and let it overwhelm me. Like I have the power to change everything from my fingertips and in everything What do I usually say? I can't control anything outside of my fingertips. I can control everything within my fingertips. So, do something about it, taking action. And then once I started getting comfortable with that and stopped having that obsession to drink, then I was able to start looking at what's going on beneath my reactions. Um, when I was able to share with my sponsor about that stuff, those reactions, and I heard her say, "Yeah, I used to do that too." Then I shared a little more, and lo and behold, it applied to her as well. There was a lot of stuff that I felt like were secrets in my life, and she said me too for I think all of them. There was nothing that I experienced that she didn't. There was a couple things she experienced that I didn't, and then that made me feel like, okay, I can do this. If she can do this, I can do this. And I didn't feel alone anymore. Like I really stopped feeling like I was in the ocean flailing my arms around, all by myself. I felt like I, although I wasn't alone, I was still suffering from my thinking problem, but I began to have a tool in my toolbox for it, and that was talk to my sponsor about it. Um, I one of my thinking issues, and I still have it today. I don't know if it'll ever go away. But it's that I get so obsessed with how other people are hurting me, you know? Um, my self-pity and hurt feelings and fear are what drive me to hide. And the way I used to hide was to drink. And today, the way that I hide is that I stop reaching out to other people. And that is a character defect that starts with my stinking thinking. And I'm reacting to my stinking thinking still to this day. Um, and that's okay. It's okay that I still do it. I wish I was perfect, but that's not what we're here for. If we were perfect, we wouldn't need to be doing this podcast thing. One thing I heard somebody say today is the saying, "What if I fall?" and "What if you fly?" Like one person asked, "What if I fall?" And the other person asked, "What if you fly?" And that's something that my psychiatrist really has been saying in other words to me a lot. The past time I was going to her and this time is that we keep talking about how I'm always defaulting to negativity. Um, I spoke about it, I don't know, yesterday, I think, about how the unpredictability of life tends to have me thinking that whatever it is that's going to happen in my life that's unpredictable, it's going to be negative because my experiences with things that were unpredictable have been negative. You know, I had a stroke. I've got a chronic illness. I'm an alcoholic. But what she's been encouraging me to do is see that there's a lot of good things that have happened in my life unpredictably. And that is that I may be an alcoholic, but I'm recovering. And that was completely unpredictable. I can't imagine that I was able to do this, you know? I just where I was at, it's hard to imagine that I'm here now. Um, I did not predict that I was going to have children, honestly. And I have these two beautiful young adults, and they are unpredictable every day, which is a beautiful thing. Um, I have an amazing husband that I never would have guessed was going to happen to me. So there's a lot of stuff that I didn't plan for, that I didn't necessarily imagine my whole life was going to happen. And yet it did. And here I am. Um, so I'm trying to shift my stinking thinking um, to be more encouraging to myself. Um, One thing that I also heard this morning about step 5 and talking to another person about our stinking thinking um, is somebody mentioned talking to somebody when we talk to somebody about what we're thinking or something that's troubling us or frustrating, what have you. We Do you talk to somebody who makes it easy on you? Like somebody who just says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, let me give you a hug." Or do you talk to somebody who understands and guides you in action? And I thought that was just really a compelling idea that I I know those people in my life that are people I go to because they make it easy. People that sometimes I just want to hear somebody say, "I'm sorry that you're going through this." Sometimes that's all I want. Um, but there are other times when I think that I want that, but the best thing for me is, what are you going to do about it, Rachel? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit around and feel sorry, or are you going to get up and do something about it? And and I thought that that was a really cool idea to think about. Because I have a couple people in my life that I know that if I call them, they are going to make me face the thing that I don't want to face. And sometimes that's why I don't call, my sponsor. We'll just say it. Let's just say it out loud. Sometimes I'm not calling my sponsor because she's going to make me look at it and she's going to make me do something about it and stop wallowing. My sponsor helps me work out an action plan to address my stinking thinking rather than just hugging it out. One thing that I heard finally this morning was the notion that there is a monster living inside of me. And there's a lot of people in sobriety that say, my disease wants me dead. Um, I don't think that that's what my disease is doing. I don't think my disease is trying to kill me. I think that my disease is trying to thrive, and as a result, it's going to kill me. So maybe I'm just splitting hairs there, but I I'm not sold with the idea that my disease is trying to kill me. My disease is trying to feed itself. my disease, if I'm dead, my disease can't live inside of me anymore. So I don't feel like it's trying to kill me, but that is in essence what happens if it continues to get more powerful inside of me. The host cannot survive if it gets too powerful. Um, and the best thing I can do today to like tame that monster or uh, put it to sleep for a while is to expose myself to things that I know are really healthy for me. So, right now I'm sitting in my studio. It used to be my office. For you lifetime listeners, you know that this room has gone through multiple names. And now it is my studio, my art studio. That's what we call it. But I have two windows, and this is something that's extremely healthy for me. So, exposing myself to the outdoors as much as I can is really healthy for me. Exposing myself to a meeting or two in the mornings is what is healthy for me. Exposing myself to opportunities to be of service, and that is not just in my sobriety, but also in the vestibular network, in the stroke community, being able to share my story and help ugh, help other people is really healthy for me. Talking is really healthy for me. Doing my crafts is really healthy for me. Trying to keep using voiceover is really healthy for me. It's all about growth. Somebody said this morning, I win a lot of arguments in the shower. I thought that's funny because I also create a lot of resentments in the shower. Um, that's my stinking thinking. And when I'm in the shower, it echoes the loudest. So just being aware of that is like is winning the first battle, you know? And then I get to talk about it with somebody, whether it's my therapist, you guys, my meetings and all that stuff. So, that's all I have today. Thanks for showing up, and I will talk to you tomorrow.